Remember how earlier I was wondering if Isabel's sculpting and painting were a source of inspiration for the bits and bytes or the other way round? Well, our next speaker actually combines both. For him, the digital technology actually becomes the artwork. He has studied both. He has studied electronics and art school. He has exhibited around the globe already, in Hong Kong, in San Francisco, in Brussels, in Basel, in Montreal, and many more. He was a speaker at TEDx, at MoMA, at Dutch Design Week, and tonight, he's here. Be amazed, ladies and gentlemen, by his installations and his creations, and have a look at the world through his eyes and his cameras. Welcome, Dries Depoorter.
Thanks for the introduction and thanks for the invitation. So my name is Dries Depoorter. In this presentation, I will talk about myself, about my projects I've done recently and what I'm working on currently. So I'm an artist, and most of my work is about privacy, cybersecurity, social media, and also machine learning. And I make them in all kinds of forms. So it can be an application, a browser game, a dating website. I make them in all kinds of forms. So most of them end up in exhibitions and are also interactive. So my very first artwork was called 24hoursoundwave.com, and it's a website, or it was a website. And it's a website where you can listen back to an audio file of 24 hours. I recorded this audio file with a professional sound recorder around my belt. At the time, I was a student, and it recorded a party. Also, I was in class that day. It recorded conversations with my mom and my friends. And I placed this audio file of 24 hours on this website. Visitors of the website can listen back to it, but some parts that are private for me are deleted. So you're not able to listen back to them, but you are able to buy them. And you can buy them for a certain price, and the price is based not on the length, but it's based on the amount of value, the amount of privacy I give it to. So you had like audio files of like €200. I think that was one of together with my mom, and then there were like also audio files deleted like that cost like 10 or 20 euros. When you buy it, you can you have a license that you can do whatever you want with the audio file. During that time, I did 3-4 more projects like that about myself, like giving away private information about myself. Later on, I did some more research and projects around privacy and social media in general. The first one was called Tinderin. And Tinderin, I'm not able to show it today, but I can show it blurred. But it's physical photo frames, and each photo frame exists out of 2 profile pictures of the same person. One is from Tinder and one is from LinkedIn. I placed them next to each other, placed them on my website, and the project went immediately viral. So it was suddenly on the Washington Post, Vice, Wired, Dazed and Confused, also design websites. But it also ended up on blogs of lawyers because I didn't ask permission to those people, and it was a pretty big deal. So then later, this is, by the way, my favorite article about the project. It's a Belgian newspaper, and they talk pretty bad about the project. And then below, they used a selfie and they also didn't ask permission for using my selfie that I took. I thought that was saying a lot about the project. A year later, LG published this print campaign. It's a print campaign that won 2 advertising awards, and you can see the design is exactly the same. They use different photos, but they stole the concept, and it's to promote their newest smartphone. I felt a bit angry, or sometimes a bit happy, because, I mean, like, it was kind of cool to see that they copied it, but yeah, sometimes I think different about this. So this is the credit list. There's a lot of people that worked on it, but I'm not in the list. I'm not in there. Even the planner was in the credit list of those 2 advertising awards. I sent the company, the advertising company, an invoice. I sent them an invoice of 10,000 euro to use my ID. I was not expecting that they will pay me, and this is how the email looks like. I published this also on my social media, so in the comments I had like a lot of reactions, like, hey, I'm also an artist, this company also copied my ID, blah, blah, blah. That was pretty cool, but some interesting stuff happened after I published this. So one of the things that happened was the 2 creative directors of that agency blocked me on Twitter. I never called them out, or I never mentioned them on Twitter. They blocked me. They never paid the invoice, but I was not expecting that they will pay me the invoice. To be honest, this was the starting career. This was the start of my artistic career. And I got suddenly like invitations for media art festivals and all kinds of events and exhibitions to make new work. At the time, I was really interested in open cameras. When I talk about open cameras, I'm talking about not the camera in your computer, but cameras that doesn't have a password, or I'm talking about IP cameras, or sometimes they have like a standard password. I use them in a lot of my projects. So one of the very first one is called Jaywalking, and it's an interactive installation that ends up in festivals about art and technology most of the time. So it's like 3 emergency buttons, 3 displays, and on the 3 displays you see 3 open cameras pointed to a crossroads. And I made software to detect if someone is jaywalking. And if someone is jaywalking, actually jaywalking means when you cross the road and it's red. In a lot of countries that's illegal. So if the system finds a jaywalker, and that happens all real time because it uses live cameras, you get this question: would you like to report the jaywalker? The person that checks the installation can then presses the emergency button, and then it will send an email to the closest police station with a screenshot of the jaywalker. And this is how the email looks like. Hi, someone that just jaywalked at, then you have the address of the camera, bye. This is an email address that only exists for 10 minutes, and in attachment you have a screenshot of the jaywalker. Most of the time it's a low-res picture. I made a follow-up project on this. It's called Jaywalking Frames, and it's a wall of 22 meters with more than 1,000 photo frames of people that are jaywalking from all over the world. I use my software, and I used a lot of different open cameras. And people can watch the photo frames. They can check it out, but they can also buy it. And the price you pay for each jaywalker, for each photo frame, is the same as the fine in that country. So this time, the money doesn't go to the police, it goes to me. And the prices are quite different. That depends on the law. And some are like really cheap. Sometimes you can buy them for 20 euros, but there's also one of 300 and 400 euros. So yeah, this is how the software works. I'm a huge fan of Python. It checks the traffic light. It checks if people are crossing the road. Each time when you see the red squares, it saves as an image, and then I curate them by hand, and I put them, some are placed in my web shop, and some are placed in galleries. So this is how I sell them in my web shop. Seattle Crime Camps, it's an installation that I made during the time of jaywalking, and it's about Seattle, the city in North America. So it's a lot of displays, and it's actually trying to show you a real-time crime in Seattle. So I use a lot of data that the police is providing, open source, so it checks where, so what it does, it checks the location where the police is going to, and then it will check the closest open cameras. Also what you hear is live police radio, and I made a small video about this. So now there's like an incoming call, it will check the location, and then it will show the closest cameras around that location in Seattle. Yeah, on the left side you see the closest cameras. On those little displays you see the distance between the camera and the location where the police is going to. So this is Seattle Crime Camps. Those are like the most serious projects, but I also do a lot of internet projects. And I call them internet projects, and it all started with a browser game that I developed together with a friend, punchmonet.gallery.
In 2012, Andrew Shannon seriously damaged a Claude Monet masterpiece hanging in the National Gallery of Ireland by punching it in front of stunned art lovers. In December 2014, the story made international headlines again as he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for his actions. This shocking act of violence drew mixed reactions on the internet. While most agreed that attacks on artwork were terrible, some felt strangely attracted to this surprising and unusual incident. We have to admit, we shared this fascination. Introducing punchamonet.gallery, a browser-based 3D game where you can virtually punch a Monet painting. Visitors find themselves in a gallery space similar to the National Gallery of Ireland. Players are given two controls, moving and punching, so they can walk up to the virtual Monet and punch it until it's completely destroyed. As the painting is repeatedly punched, a running tally adds up the dollar value of the damage being done. The simulation clearly struck a nerve on the internet. Tens of thousands of people chose to experiment with violence against art, resulting in a total of 200,000 players after the first week. More than 50,000 people shared the project on social media. For some, virtually punching a priceless artwork was cathartic, a chance to explore a taboo behavior without doing any real damage. The project was featured on a number of important creative and art outlets, and by prominent gaming websites such as Kotaku, Killscreen, and Game Trailers. Try it now at punchamonet.gallery.
So this was really my first online game that I developed, and we made it in 5 days. Some projects, you develop them in less than 5 days, and it's like had more views than the previous one. So non-views is a project that I spent half an hour on it, and it's a Chrome extension, it's a browser extension that changes your amount of YouTube views in the amount of people that didn't watch your movie in the world. For some reason, people install it. Airbnb Host, that's a new browser game. It's not online anymore, but yeah, it was a browser game. And it used data from Airbnb. So you see one Airbnb room, and then you need to guess the host of the Airbnb space. So it was to show a cybersecurity issue with on Airbnb side. Airbnb was not very happy about this, so they sent their lawyers to me. They wanted to have the website offline, and I added like a small button, book this room, to add some traffic to their website, but they were still not happy with this. So they sent me this kind of emails, and I switched it offline. Another project, it's called Scratch Tickets. It started online, and it started in my web shop. So it's a scratch ticket where you can win up to 25,000 fake followers for Instagram and Twitter. And you can actually win them. So it started in my web shop. Now I have like those machines. machine where you can buy them for €1. And yeah, they end up in exhibitions, also Instagram museums. And a few years ago, I made an update about this, and it's called Quick Fix.
Quick Fix is an art installation that makes it possible to buy likes or followers in just a few seconds. This is how it works. Choose your product, pay the cost, enter your Instagram username, and you're done. You will have the likes or followers delivered in just a few seconds. Check your phone and start celebrating success. Quick Fix. Influencers love it.
So, yeah. So this is a Quick Fix, and this is how the machine looks like. This is version 1. It's developed a few years ago. It was all over Europe, also in Hong Kong and North America. And I made now multiple of those machines. So inside there's a Raspberry Pi. That's like a small Linux computer. This is how I ship it. And I made, this is inside. There's also a debug screen, so I can see how much money it made that day. And recently I made like a version 2. It's exactly the same, but it has just like a touch screen now. Yeah. Let's do a little experiment. Who wants now 2,500 Instagram likes? Otherwise, I will do it. We're a bit short on time, so I will do it on a cat on Instagram. So I prepared something for tonight. So I have this small program here, and it does exactly the same as Quick Fix, but it's, yeah, this is made for presentations. So, okay, let's first find a cat that deserves 2,500 likes. This is, I'm now on Instagram. Oof. This one. Currently have, okay, currently has 2 likes. Okay, so it has 2 likes. I copy already the link. So do we want 2,500 or? Okay, and now I copied a paste. Yeah, I had the link here, and just before the presentation, I slowed it down, but it will happen. Had some technical issues, but it will be there. It's just a bit slower today. So what's happening now? It's I have currently 50,000 accounts on Instagram. I didn't make them by hand. I made this automatically, and then I can make sure they follow you, they like a post, and that is what's happening now. And yeah, it will be there. Maybe yeah, it's already started, but wait. It will speed up. The first one is just checking if it's there. And it's not something that happens in my browser. So if you're on Instagram, you can check it, and it will go up. It's a bit slower today, but let's see. Oh, I had some backups. Likes, let's do. Okay, this guy will be very happy. Okay, here he goes. So that's how easy it is, but it's quite powerful too, right? You can do. At the end of the presentation, I will go back and see how it goes. So this is a Quick Fix. Yeah, and this is not open source. It's not for everyone out there. I just keep this for presentations. Something totally different, Surveillance Paparazzi. It's an installation, and it started by watching a documentation of software by Microsoft, a a service or API. I checked this service, and they have a service where you can send an image, and then it will say who is the celebrity. So this was part of the documentation of that service, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So I made an installation called Surveillance Paparazzi, and it's a box with 2 screens and computers inside, and one screen is showing a scanning process, and what it does is constantly checking open cameras in Hollywood, and it's trying to find a celebrity. So first it's trying to find faces. If it finds a face, it will use this service of Microsoft, and it is able to detect more than 250,000 celebrities from all over the world. So my goal with this installation is to take a paparazzi photo from Belgium, from somewhere else. So one screen is showing the results, and one screen is showing the scanning process. So this is the results screen. It already found many, it found lookalikes. So they're all false positives. So then it gets some information from Wikipedia, and also the image of Wikipedia of that celebrity. The only thing I get back from Microsoft is a confidence level, and also the name of that celebrity. So those are all lookalikes. This is a camera and a doorbell, and this is the same camera. This is the same doorbell, but with someone else. Surveillance speaker. This is an installation that exists out of a motor, speaker, and camera mounted to each other, and it's constantly checking the space. And for example, if it was here, it will say in a sentence, "I see a dark room full of people." And I'll always update the software and everything that is running on the back. So it moves, it's with a really natural voice. And one of the most poetic moments I had with this piece was there was a twin walking around the installation, and it was saying, "I see a girl taking a selfie in the mirror." So sometimes it's really poetically wrong, but sometimes it can be creepy accurate. I did a lot with machine learning. And one of the very first things that I ever made was a photo camera. I will be really short about this, but it doesn't look like a photo camera, but it's a photo camera. It's called trophy camera, and it's a photo camera that can only make award-winning photos. So it's trained on the World Press photo. That's like the photo of the year, and it tries to find similarities in that. So if you take a photo, it will say like, okay, this looks 10% as a World Press photo. You can select also your award that you want to win. If you get more than 10%, 90%, then it saves it, and it also got published on a website. So this is a trophy camera. My first app, it's called Die With Me. It's available in the App Store and Google Play Store. And it's an app which you can only use when you have less than 5% battery on your phone. If you have less than 5% battery on your phone, you can use the app, and then you end up in a chat room with other people having less than 5% battery on their phone. You can see each other's battery status. You end up in a public chat room. People are making a lot of spelling mistakes. You can also see when someone is charging. When you go over the 5%, you get kicked out. It was super hard. Yeah, and I first have a video.
Everyone knows the struggle of a dying phone. Die With Me is an app you can only use when you have less than 5% battery. Die together in a chat room on your way to offline peace.
Yeah, so this was this is Die With Me, and it was super hard to get it in the Apple App Store. Like when you want to have your app in the Apple App Store, Apple checks everything, your code, your concept, and Apple was not very happy about the idea, or they really didn't want to approve it. On my birthday, I got it approved. That's another presentation, but I got it approved in the Apple App Store. And like the same day, it went immediately viral.
Low battery, no problem. You can still chat it up.
It was everywhere. I was super happy with this. We won, it made it together with a friend, and it won a few awards also. A lot of YouTubers talked about it. And actually what happened then, after a few weeks, I think 1 or 2, we end up, also the Wall Street Journal, we end up in the #1 in the Apple App Store in the US, and the category paid. So that became my job, and I developed it, and I sometimes update it. So, but actually what happened a week later after we launched it, people starting to copy us. So we had an app, it was around 50 cents. And then people and companies starting to copy us. So the first one, the first copy was in the Google Play Store. Like you see in the screenshot here, it has exactly the same name, but the developer is different. And they were making money with ads in their chat room, but they provided the app for free. So I was, again, like a bit angry, but and I sent them a really professional email, like, hey, please remove it from the Google Play Store. And they didn't remove it, but they changed the name in 24 hours, and it was going from Die With Me to Live With Me. But then, there were other copies, Die With Me, less than 15%. And it has like exactly the same design. Last Date, that was the first on iOS. That was like a mix between Tinder and Die With Me. And then those are all copies, what I'm showing here. And exhibitions, I show a neon lamp, and next to it, you can see the chat room all the time. So I don't like to show like an app in an exhibition. I think that's kind of weird. But when you visit this exhibition, you can have it, you can see the public chat room. Sometimes I update the app. Now you can be verified, and you don't need to pay the €8 a month. Also, this is David, by the way. I made this with him. There's also a 5% update that we made, and now you can pay €5 in the app, and then you can start using it from 10% instead of 5%. And on Black Friday, we double our prices. It's twice the amount of money. And it's actually our best-selling day, because people share it, and then other people get to know the app, and that's really awesome to see. During COVID, I did already a lot of projects with open cameras, and I always showed the dark side of it. And during Corona, I really wanted to show something positive with those cameras. So I developed 24-hour sunrise sunset, and it's basically a console and device that I made with 2 HDMI ports, and it displays on 2 screens, and you see a live sunrise and a live sunset happening in the world. So this is the device I made. During that time, I had more time, and I developed my own hardware. So now I make my own PCBs. Those are these kinds of things, and because I was able to make PCBs, I made a product called Short Life, and it's a clock. It's a clock that I sell in my web shop, and it's a clock to remind you that life is short. And it's really personal, because it shows the percentage of how much of your life is already completed. And that's based on your life expectancy in your country. So if you order it, you need to fill in some basic details, where you've been born, how old are your birthday, and then it will calculate, and you get it shipped like this. I made different versions. So this is version 1, this is version 2. On the name, on the back, I write down your name and an edition number. In arts, there's always like, okay, it's only an edition of 5 or 6, but this is an edition of 1 million. Okay, something else. The lookouts, I will be really short about this. It's again about open cameras, but one day I found out a lot of those open cameras, they have motors attached to it. So on a lot of those cameras, I'm able to move them physically. So this is me controlling with a PlayStation controller a camera in France. It goes always a bit slower, and I made like an installation of this. So there's some games in the installation. Basically what you can do is move cameras from all over the world with a PlayStation controller. And that happens real time. So a lot of the visitors of the installation, they move the camera like this, so the owner sees like, oh, the camera is moving weird. So that's what a lot of visitors are doing. This is a bit of the hardware. Okay. The Flemish scrollers, this is one of my latest projects, and I made a little video about this.
The Flemish Scrollers is an art installation tagging Belgian politicians when they use their phone on the daily live streams. This is how it works. Every meeting of the Flemish government in Belgium is live streamed on a YouTube channel. When a live stream starts, the software is searching for phones and tries to identify a distracted politician. When a politician is too long on the phone, a video of the person is then posted to a Twitter and Instagram account with the politician tagged. This is all done with the help of artificial intelligence and face recognition. The Flemish Scrollers was featured in important news outlets. A few Belgian politicians reacted in the media. The art installation was premiered on April 1st, 2022 in Lausanne, Switzerland. Please stay focused.
So this is basically the installation is a visualization of the software, the results, also the scanning process. And I made it's like a big server. I really want to show the hardware behind all those behind all the software. So that project went pretty viral. It was pretty cool to see. A lot of things happened, received many emails. This is how the installation looks like. Some interesting stuff happened in Belgium after I launched it the day after. So the day after, this was a picture, by the way, that went pretty viral. A lot of people shared this image. And some things changed after I launched the presentation, launched the project. So, where's the slide? So a lot of people shared it, but now they changed how they film those meetings. So basically, before I made the project available, like first you had this overview shot where you can see all the people in the government, but now basically what they do is when someone is talking, they film only that person. So, Border Birds. That's an installation that I made together with my sister. She's a photographer. And it's a series, it's a lot of photos that I sell of birds that are crossing 2 countries. So I first found open cameras on the 2 countries that are in conflict with each other. And then I made software to detect if some birds are crossing the border. So, and I sell them in those photo frames. You can see the 2 countries, you can see the dates, and half of the profits go to the Red Cross that helps people to cross borders. The follower, that's my... Thank you. That's my latest project, and I made a little video about this. So, but maybe I will talk over this. So it's a project, it's a video series. So on the left side you see an Instagram image that someone published online. And then on the right side, you see an open camera, how that image was taken. The people didn't know I just made this video. So first I recorded a selection of open cameras for weeks, scraped all the Instagrams of that location, and then the difficult parts was to match them. And I made like this video. It's like 8 minutes. Let's watch a few. People are sometimes like 10 minutes there. I do that also a lot. So yeah. Yeah, I also found some influencers. So I published this on as a video on YouTube and on my social media. And a lot of things happened after I published this. So first, yeah, let's watch a few more. This was in New York. To finish off my presentation, I will talk about one project that I'm currently working on, and it's called Recharge. And it's a project where you can chill. Actually, it's a seat where you can lay down and relax. And next to it, there's this little table. And you're able to charge your phone on this little table, but only when your eyes are closed. So when you close your eyes, your phone will charge. If you open your eyes, your phone will not charge. And I think there's something really poetic about this. Like you charge yourself while you're charging your phone to get back on the internet. So this is the next project. I'm not sure if it will be like a product or like an installation for exhibitions. Let's check the Instagram post. So the last time I refreshed at 1:30, and now let's see. Okay. But yeah, thanks for listening.